Most people think peace is something you find after your life finally changes. After the money comes, after the relationship improves, after the anxiety disappears, after you become the version of yourself you've been trying to become for years. But what you have to understand is this: if peace only exists after everything changes, then peace is always somewhere in the future. And if your mind is always chasing the future, it can never rest in the present. This is why so many people feel exhausted even when nothing is technically wrong. They are carrying constant internal tension, not because life is attacking them, not because they are weak, but because their mind has been trained to search for problems before it allows itself to feel safe. Think about that for a moment. Some people achieve the exact things they once prayed for, and they still cannot relax. They still feel restless, still feel emotionally heavy, still feel like something is missing. Why? Because peace was never connected to circumstances in the first place. Peace is connected to the way your mind interprets your existence, and most people never realize this. They spend years trying to control the outside world while completely ignoring the internal system creating their emotional reality. The truth is, your nervous system does not care about your goals. It responds to what feels familiar. If stress feels familiar, your mind returns to stress. If worry feels familiar, your mind searches for reasons to worry. If emotional struggle became your normal state, peace can actually feel uncomfortable at first. This is where everything changes. Because once you understand that your inner state has been conditioned, you stop making your emotions your identity. You stop saying, "This is just who I am. This is just how my mind works. I've always been like this." No, you learned these patterns, and what is learned can be changed. But first, you have to see what is actually happening inside you. Most people are not searching for peace. They are searching for relief. There is a difference. Relief says, "Something is wrong, and I need to escape this feeling." Peace says, "Nothing needs to happen for me to be present with myself." One is temporary. The other changes your entire relationship with life. Now stay with me here. From a young age, many people were taught that safety depended on performance. You had to succeed to feel worthy. You had to behave correctly to receive approval. You had to avoid mistakes to avoid pain. Over time, the brain adapts to this emotional environment. It begins associating tension with survival. And eventually, calmness feels unfamiliar. This is why some people sabotage quiet moments without realizing it. The moment life becomes still, the mind starts creating noise. More overthinking, more worry, more mental scenarios, more emotional resistance. Not because the person wants suffering, but because the mind became addicted to activity. Silence exposes what distraction hides. And many people have spent years avoiding themselves through constant stimulation. Phones, noise, work, stress, drama, endless thinking. Not because they enjoy it, because they don't know how to sit with their own mind without feeling discomfort. But the discomfort is not the enemy. It is information. It reveals the emotional patterns you never stop to observe. Think about how often your mind moves automatically. You wake up already thinking, already worrying, already replaying conversations, already predicting problems that have not happened. And after enough repetition, this mental activity starts feeling normal. You no longer notice how much energy it consumes, but your body notices. Your body remembers every unresolved emotion your mind keeps recycling. That constant tightness in your chest, that exhaustion that sleep does not fix, that inability to fully relax even during peaceful moments. These are not random experiences. Your body is responding to the emotional state you rehearse every day. This is why external success alone rarely creates inner peace. A person can change cities, careers, relationships, even financial situations, while carrying the exact same internal environment. The location changes. The emotional pattern stays. And wherever the mind goes, the emotional experience follows. This is why awareness matters. not as a spiritual trend, not as a performance, but as a practical shift in how you experience your life. Because you cannot change what you do not notice. Most people are trapped in unconscious repetition. They repeat the same emotional reactions, the same fears, the same interpretations, the same internal stories. Then they wonder why life feels emotionally heavy. But the mind believes repetition equals truth. If you repeat stress long enough, stress starts feeling like your personality. If you repeat self-doubt long enough, uncertainty starts feeling permanent. This is why inner peace requires more than positive thinking. You cannot force peace through words, while your nervous system remains trapped in survival mode. Real peace begins when your body no longer feels at war with the present moment, and that shift starts with awareness, not judgment, not self-criticism, awareness. The moment you observe your thoughts without automatically becoming them, something changes. A small space appears between you and the mental noise, and inside that space, there is clarity. You begin realizing, I am noticing the fear, which means the fear is not the entirety of who you are. You are the awareness observing it. Let that sink in. Most people spend their lives completely merged with every thought passing through their mind. Every fear becomes reality. Every emotion becomes identity. Every mental scenario becomes a prediction. But thoughts are not always truth. Many thoughts are simply repetitions of old emotional conditioning. Old fears, old memories, old emotional habits. And the mind repeats what feels familiar until awareness interrupts the pattern. This is why peace is not something you achieve once and keep forever. Peace is a relationship with the present moment. It is the ability to stop fighting every internal experience. Because fighting your thoughts often gives them more power. Resistance feeds mental noise. Observation weakens it. Now think about this carefully. How much of your suffering comes from the actual moment you are living in right now? Not tomorrow, not last year, right now. In many cases, the present moment itself is not the problem. The suffering comes from interpretation, from mental projection, from imagined futures, from emotional memory. The body reacts to thoughts as if they are happening now. This is why people can feel anxious sitting safely inside their own home. The mind creates emotional experiences the body believes are real. And when this cycle repeats daily, peace starts feeling distant. But it was never truly gone. It was buried underneath constant mental movement. The truth is, peace is not an emotion you chase. It is what remains when internal resistance begins to dissolve. And that process starts slowly. You begin noticing your thoughts instead of obeying them automatically. You stop feeding every fearful scenario. You stop searching for problems in every silence. You allow moments of stillness without immediately escaping them. At first, this can feel uncomfortable, because the mind is used to stimulation, used to emotional noise. But over time, your nervous system starts learning a new emotional state. Safety without constant control, stillness without fear, presence without tension. And this changes the way you experience everything. You speak differently, react differently, think differently. Not because you forced yourself to change, because your internal environment changed. This is why peace cannot be purchased, cannot be achieved through status, cannot be found through endless external chasing. Peace begins when you stop abandoning yourself internally, when you stop treating every uncomfortable emotion like an emergency, when you realize that your worth is not measured by productivity, perfection, or constant mental control. You were not designed to live in permanent emotional survival. You were conditioned into it. And conditioning can change, but only when awareness becomes stronger than unconscious repetition. This is where many people finally breathe for the first time, not because life became perfect, because they stopped waiting for perfection before allowing themselves to feel alive. And maybe that is what you needed to hear today. Maybe peace has not been missing from your life. Maybe your mind has simply been too noisy to notice it. Because underneath the overthinking, underneath the emotional tension, underneath the constant searching, there is still a part of you that already knows how to be still. A part of you untouched by all the mental chaos you learned over the years. And reconnecting with that part changes everything. If this message connected with something you've been feeling internally, subscribe to the channel and continue exploring these ideas with us. And if you're ready to understand the deeper patterns shaping your emotional reality, watch the next video. It may help you see yourself in a completely different way.